Danya was small, either we went places where she could go, and if she couldn't go, or we would like do things that she couldn't do when she was over her granny's, or like my sisters occasionally, or
family.
Yeah, when family was, when she was spending the night over family's house, whatever, that was our chance to go and play and do, you know, mommy and daddy stuff without her. But if she was around, if it was something that she couldn't do, we just didn't go. Or if it was something she could do, we would bring her with us, and then that was that until she got old enough to, like, you know, kind of stay by herself, whatever. But that's because I'm not down with the whole babysitter thing.
What about do you let Danya go to sleepovers?
You know good and well. We talked about that on this show. You know I don't do the sleepovers.
Not ever, or maybe just like when she gets older.
Well, when she gets older, you know, when she's old enough to protect herself and this and that and do what, that's, you know, and even now there's like, you know, there's an exception or two. You know, I got like two friends that are like family.
Right.
We've been together, like we've been friends like 30 years. And
yeah.
Her kids, their kids and Danya are growing up together. They around the same age. And so there's, you know, those exceptions. But other than that, those kids can come over to our house and Danya can go over to their house. She hasn't yet, but she could. But other than that, no sleepover. The parent of one of those kids just hit me up this week about sending Danya to sleepaway camp with her little girl. I'm like, no, I can't. Sorry, man, I can't. Sleepaway camp? Oh, hell no.
I'm just asking because I was the residential babysitter in my household, so my mom didn't ever have to worry about that. But even still, there was never like an outside person that we weren't familiar with or that we weren't close to that my mom let keep us or babysit us. The closest that we have to that was a daycare that was like on the corner of our house that our neighbors ran. And so my mom let my sister go to that daycare. That was like as far as it got. It wasn't like any outside babysitter. So I'm pretty sure that this lady knew her well. You know what I'm saying? For her to call her and even trust her enough to come and hang out with them. So for her to do that to her is like even more fucked up. Because typically, people just don't let strangers come around their kids unless you have some type of relationship with them.
I don't know if that's altogether true, but I don't think it really matters either way. I mean, whether she knew the person, if she knew the person, that makes it even more egregious. Yeah. I don't get the feeling that they knew each other that well. I mean, a lot of times this stuff is like word of mouth. It's like, you don't have to know the person, but because I know so-and-so and so-and-so has recommended you, then I'm going to go on the strength of that.
Or it could be a college kid to go to her church. That she knows, like, hey,
exactly.
You want to watch my kids? Or
it could. It's a lot of it's word of mouth, and I don't think every babysitter knows the family that they work for personally, but oftentimes they do. Yeah, oftentimes they do.
Well, yes, no, definitely, but I don't know anybody, or even you, Dino, haven't been in a situation with a babysitter like just somebody at the church or word of mouth or anything like that. So.
No, because like I said, I'm a little more.
But even my mom. So I don't know. I'm
a little more over the.
So that's probably something that people need to look at right there. Don't let strangers be with your kids anyway. Don't go keep somebody's kids you don't know that well.
A stranger is a friend you haven't met.
Spoken like a true predator. That is like straight from the Predator handbook right there.
Yes.
A stranger or a friend you haven't met
True
yet.
murderer, strangler, stalker.
Pedophile. Don't forget about him.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Leave anybody out.
Lashana Lynch. Who knows who Lashana Lynch is?
Not before now.
The daughter of Marshawn Lynch?
No, I've never heard of her before, but she's a British actress who will replace Daniel Craig as the next 007.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
Daniel Craig, wasn't he not the singer?
No, that's Craig David.
Oh, Daniel Craig is like the best Bond. He's the best Bond since
I miss some shit.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, yeah.
Sean Connery.
He's the best one. He might be ahead of Sean Connery in my book.
He's a thin British guy.
He's a blonde dude.
He's the current James Bond.
Okay.
He's been James Bond for a few years now.
Okay.
So he's retiring.
Oh.
So the way the story goes, spoiler alert, there's no details here, but it's out. It's leaked out how the story goes. Yeah. He is going to retire, and M, the British woman who is like 007 supervisor, she is going to find a successor for the 007 code. And this Lashana Lynch is going to be his successor.
Awesome.
So that's how the story is going to go. She's going to be the newest 007 in the
Not
franchise.
James Bond, but 007.
Right. She won't be James
Okay.
Bond. She'll be 007.
So it'll be a different franchise all her own?
No, I think it'll be the same.
I mean, not a different franchise, but it'll be like...
It'll be led by her.
Yeah, it'll be a different person. Like, it won't be James Bond 007. It'll be whatever her character name is, 007.
Assuming so, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And then she'll have, like, her own whatevers. I think
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So I don't know.
So
I don't, or I don't know. I heard somewhere else too that they might be like using this to launch her own thing. Like she might get her own thing with her own name, and then there still be a James Bond 2, and then they'll have her and her own thing or whatever. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going, and that was just kind of like some unsubstantiated rumors on that one. So I don't know, but
I like the handling of this.
Yeah.
Because there's all this for years and years, we've talked about fictional characters before, what race they are and changing race and things like that.
Right.
And there's always people have been saying Idris Elba for years should be the next James Bond and stuff like that.
Right.
And the pressure to do that seemed to be well, now it seems like you're just doing it just to have a black person. But this idea of oh no, we're just going to rework the franchise. I like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. And then the fact that she even has the opportunity to go and do her own thing and grow even more. I think that's...
And not have to live in the shadow of being a James Bond character.
Yes, I think that's awesome because I think a lot of the James Bond characters get tired and eventually retire. So I think that this is great that, we'll get different storylines. We'll get different, characters. I think that's awesome.
Well, you only can jump out of so many helicopters.
Yeah, I'm not telling you. Scale so many buildings.
Except for, unless your name is Tom Cruise.
You
never stop.
You can do many.
So the name of her first franchise or first film, Octopenis?
Octopenis. Nobody wants that.
Well, I mean, is it Octopussy?
Right.
The Octopenis?
Well,
I don't know.
Either way.
Either way, we'll see.
We don't know that she's going to be. We don't know she's going to be straight.
No,
that's true.
That's true. We don't know.
That's true. I'm just happy that there isn't any.
At this point, I'd probably be surprised. Why not go for the trifecta?
Right.
So
Give her a little bit of everything.
So
as long as we're not doing any of those not my 007 hashtags, then I'm happy. I'm good. Let her live.
Just wait.
So in West Hollywood, a cannabis cafe to be known as Lowell Cafe is set to open on September 1st of this year.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. I'm very excited, but I'm also very sad. I
feel
feel like
with the competition?
No, I feel like this was my idea. I feel like I wanted to do this. And yeah. So I'm happy for them now.
I remember I had my first cannabis-infused meal. It was in Chicago, actually, several years ago. I knew a chef, and he wanted to do a cannabis meal, and he had all these oils and infusions and stuff like that. And this is before you could just buy it readily. He made most of it himself.
Right.
Awesome.
So it was a nice experience. We were very, very tired at the end of the evening.
Were you now?
Oh, we slept well.
I bet.
I can imagine. Is it gonna be like that where they're gonna be serving infused food, or is it just like a place where you can go smoke?
I believe it's both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it kind of switches over in the evening around 9 p.m. and I think that's where you can. It turns into like a lounge.
Yeah.
And in the daytime, it's more of like a restaurant, and you can kind of buy things, products to go.
Yeah.
But then 9 p.m. it switches over. So to like a bar lounge type thing. So
I do like a weed lounge.
I will be there.
It sounds interesting. It sounds very interesting. And the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce is very excited about it. They're going to keep a close eye on it. Their license is only for 1 year, and after a year, they're going to review, the situation and see how it went. because like there's a synagogue across the street, and the rabbi, she is not happy about this cannabis restaurant. So she's upset and she's worried about, like, cannabis wafting through the air. But, they say they have very high-end filtration systems that will, keep that from happening. Yeah. So it shouldn't be a problem.
I hope it's not.
So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
I wish it wasn't in West Hollywood. I wish it was like in East Hollywood.
I know, right?
Why?
Because I don't like going to West Hollywood.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. If it was in East Hollywood, then it'd be close.
And it's going to be super expensive.
Yeah.
And it's West Hollywood, which I don't care for.
West Hollywood, yeah. It's going to have that West Hollywood stank on it. But anyway, I hope. I really
just had your thing at West Hollywood, right?
No.
It wasn't? Oh.
Yeah, your vegetarian
restaurant.
Vegetarian Mexican restaurant?
Yeah, that was in West Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't like a smoking thing, or it was just a regular restaurant.
I'm just talking about West Hollywood in general. I try to avoid it. That's where Jason works.
Yeah, well,
right in the Sunset Strip, right in the heart of it.
One of my clients is the manager of that place, so I couldn't be like, move your restaurant for a week. So I just kind of had to go. But that's like the main problem with the cannabis industry right now that I'm finding is the licenses are so expensive, like the $100,000s of dollars range. So when you talk about a consumer like me or an entrepreneur like me who has like these great ideas, like, oh, I would love to open up a cannabis lounge, and then we try to look into it and we see how expensive it is, it kind of like shuts out a lot of the people who have these ideas or have, can possibly benefit from these opportunities. And I think that that's messed up. I really hope that they have that filtration system, because one of the concerns is like people who don't care for it shouldn't have to be forced to partake in it or be around it or even have to smell it. So I don't think that they should have put it across the street from a synagogue, especially, I don't know how big it is or how popular it is, but it should have been in a more discreet area. I think they could have chose a better neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah.
I disagree with that entirely.
I think
they should have it wherever they want to have it. I think the synagogue, come on.
Yeah, it's in a public place.
Exactly.
Just like, so why can't the restaurant? I mean, and you don't want it hidden because, first of all, like you said, that this.
No, not hidden, but just.
You said more discreet. That's hidden. That's a synonym for hidden. You don't want it in a hidden place because, like you said, it is extremely expensive to start. And, I mean, this company, they're taking a big risk because it's basically on a trial basis. Sure. And they're investing all this money, but they are a big company and they have the big money, which, a regular person probably wouldn't even do that. They wouldn't, they couldn't take that kind of risk for a year. And say a year later you tell me, oh, well, all your permits are canceled, because it didn't work out and you invested all this money. So anyway, even if you do have the money, you invested all this money, you want to give it every chance to succeed. So you don't want it hidden somewhere,
Yeah, but that's almost like my point. You're investing all this money. Why would you put it in a place where one business or one church is going to make a funk or make a stink about it? I'm sure it's a place where they can put it that has just enough that has just the same amount of foot traffic, that has all the same curb appeal, and wouldn't have as many issues in the location. That's all. That's all my issue with it.
I think if you got one business, with church is a business. If you got one business that complains, I think you're doing okay, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because
when you're on a trial basis, only 1 year, you kind of want to appease.
Well, you know what? Synagogue, pay taxes, and then you can have more say.
I think they should pay taxes, definitely.
You guys remember maybe a year or two ago, we had a story out of Paris where there was a guy, they were calling him Spider-Man.
Sure.
He climbed, I think it was like maybe Ford. It was a medium-sized building, maybe 8 stories, maybe 4, and to save a kid or something like that. Well, Philly got a Spider-Man now.
All right, Philly.
Yeah, Philadelphia man scales an apartment building 19 stories.
Whoa.
19 stories on fire with a broken hip.
Oh, what?
To save his mama.
Oh, wow.
Give it up for that man. Give it up.
He just shitted on that other Superman.
Give it up for that man. Give it up.
Save his mama.
19 stories on fire with a broken hip to save his mama.
I always love my mama.
So this is what happened. So The guys outside